In the mid-1990s, WCW tried to create its next unstoppable hero, a warrior with wild hair, intense eyes, and explosive energy. They called him the Renegade. He was pushed as the future, hyped as a legend in the making. But behind the screams, the music, and the spotlight, something was terribly wrong. Fans rejected him. The industry abandoned him. And years later, in complete silence, the Renegade was found dead at just 33 years old. Official reports said suicide. But how did a man once chosen to be wrestling's next big star end his life forgotten and alone? Tonight, we uncover the tragic, unnatural, and mysterious death of the Renegade, a story WCW never wanted you to remember. Born Rick Wilson on February 16, 1968, the Renegade didn't grow up dreaming of failure. He dreamed of greatness. Like many wrestlers of his generation, Rick was inspired by the larger-than-life heroes of the 1980s. He trained hard, pushed his body to extremes, and believed that wrestling would give his life purpose. Early in his career, he showed athletic promise and raw intensity, but also lacked polish and experience. Still, WCW executives saw something they wanted desperately, a replacement for fading stars, a new face they could mold. And so, Rick Wilson's life changed forever when WCW rebranded him as the Renegade. WCW didn't slowly build the Renegade, they forced him on the audience. He was given a warrior-style gimmick, intense promos, and most controversially, victories over legends like Arn Anderson. Fans didn't buy it. The crowd rejected him brutally, chanting insults and mocking his in-ring mistakes. Each week, the humiliation grew worse. WCW continued pushing him anyway, ignoring audience reactions. For Rick Wilson, this wasn't just creative failure, it was public destruction. Every mistake aired live. Every botch echoed in arenas across America. Confidence turned into anxiety. Pride turned into shame. Wrestling locker rooms are unforgiving places. When fans turned on the Renegade, so did many backstage. Wrestlers later admitted that Rick became the butt of jokes, a symbol of WCW's worst creative decisions. The pressure crushed him. He began doubting himself, isolating from others, and struggling mentally. For a man whose entire identity was built around being a future star, rejection was devastating. Mental health was never discussed in the 1990s wrestling world. There was no support system, only silence and expectations to man up. When WCW finally dropped the Renegade, Rick Wilson vanished from the spotlight. No farewell, no closure. He drifted through independent wrestling promotions, struggling to rebuild his career while carrying the stigma of failure. Financial problems followed. Stability disappeared. Without wrestling, Rick felt invisible. Friends later said he felt wrestling had chewed him up and spit him out. The dream that once fueled him now haunted him daily. By the late 1990s, Rick Wilson was battling deep depression. He felt forgotten by fans, abandoned by promoters, and disconnected from his purpose. Like many wrestlers of his era, he carried emotional pain alone. No therapy, no counseling, no safety net. The persona of the Renegade may have died in WCW, but Rick Wilson was still fighting demons no one could see. On February 23, 1999, Rick Wilson was found dead in his home in Florida. He was only 33 years old. Authorities ruled his death a suicide by gunshot. The news barely made headlines. No tributes. No major coverage. A man once pushed as wrestling's future disappeared without noise. Some believe untreated depression was the true killer. Others question how an industry built on mental and physical punishment could walk away without responsibility. The official cause was clear, but the deeper truth remains unsettling. The Renegade's death exposed a harsh reality of professional wrestling. If you succeed, you're celebrated. If you fail, you're forgotten. WCW moved on. Fans moved on. But Rick Wilson never escaped the damage done to his confidence, identity, and mental health. His story is not just about suicide. It's about neglect, humiliation, and an industry that values characters more than human beings. The Renegade didn't lose his life in the ring, but the ring played a role in taking it. His story is a warning about unchecked pressure, forced expectations, and silence around mental health. Remembering the Renegade means remembering Rick Wilson, a man who wanted to be great, but was never given the time or support to become it. Legends aren't always remembered for victories. Sometimes they're remembered for the lessons they leave behind.